Welcome back to the Arctic Den. Today we are playing Tiny Bunny, a horror visual novel about a bunny, I think. This looks more like a demon. We'll see what happens. Alright. Where are we at? This place looks interesting. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing, and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow, while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house has a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its vision. Wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves there was nothing behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Oh no. Still. Looked like a fox. Hello, fox. Hey, put away your book. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. I'll have to disagree with you there. Reading books is great. People should do it more often. Oh, actually, I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Olya had finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic she almost looked like your typical girl from the commercials. You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in my plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Oh yes, must be poverty. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night. The black forest around our house and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Costio Odyssey. I love that show. Never heard of it. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. No, or how cold the black forest is at night. You shouldn't wonder these things. The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. What did I just say? I'll get it. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this? Carved on the other side of the table. Karina. Okay. The base language of this game is in a different language. Might be Tagalog or something. The only language I can really check is Japanese. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. Should I remind her about it? Nah, she's been in a bad mood lately. I imagine her being my age sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? I imagined my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed, where Olya sleeps nowadays, saying this in her soft, smooth voice. Taiga is a special place, little girl. It's watching you closely, sniffing you out, trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. If you're a bad apple, he'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. And that would be it. Well then, you have a strange grandma. Normally they just want to feed you. There were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her own funeral. She'd already bought a casket, and she called it her cute funeral box. It waited for its time in the closet patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material in the inside. I saw it when my mother was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive, only all the photos were gone. Ew. I crawled out from under the table. Oya was done with her cookies, and was looking at my share like a sly wooden lind creature. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass. It's a fox. Hey fox, you want to help me get out of here? I don't like it here. Almost look like an optical illusion thingies they put on the back of a student notebook. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a bit and look under a certain angle, you have a fox. Oh, here's the nose and here, hey, eat up. Yes, just a moment. I don't see anything. Hurry up, we don't have much time. Where are we going? I'm telling you it does. Nuh-uh, it does. Stop it, these kids, I swear. Now I couldn't see the fox either. It disappeared. Went away. Like my hopes and dreams. My dad entered the kitchen with long measured steps. Your dad looks built. And why are you a nerd? This is outrageous. It's unfair. This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Oya would cover her ears when she hears something like, "What's the point in all this?" through the wall. "It's all for your sake," Dad would reply, "for the sake of our family." I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded and deadliest word that started with D. Devo. I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. You and your owl again. You said you believed me yesterday. Has anyone seen my car keys? I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Right. Maybe you did, and maybe not. You're a grown man, a father of two and still. Karina, please stop. Please just let me get ready in peace. Your keys are in the basket, along with the phone. Well, thank you very much. Anton, stop making a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already. And the owl. There was no owl. But there was one. It had giant glowing eyes. Leah sprang up from her chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes, the size of an apple each with her fingers. Last year, you had Baba in your closet. Wonder what that is. Maybe it's a spirit. But I saw it. Have you thought of befriending it? You know, like, beating it with imaginary mice? Don't bully our girl. She's just afraid of sleep alone because she's little. Oya pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed and the little theme from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. Don't care, because it's... Honestly, it's a horrible movie. Bad for kids. How do you fix a relationship? By two people mutually choosing to fix it. Oya had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped her to take her mind off the troubles we had with the move and our parents. "Hey, Bunny!" And then Oya said she saw a giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power to tried every trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Oya refused to sleep alone and didn't believe the owl was just one of her nightmares. After tonight, I was unsure what to make of her words, what to think of them myself. Can nightmares be infectious? No, it's just your new best friend, a bunny, I think. It's probably a demon. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids, but all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and a pair of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Their cruel glares filled with icy sneers made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Beat me down, and never let up. This school can burn for all I care. I just wished for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that much. I didn't want to see people who were itching to smack me in the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. So you're bullied. Your sister's dealing with a demon, and you're a nerd. Oh dear. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Oya begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings. They promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number." Or, "Anton isn't around." Anton is not around. Wow. That's horrible. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all, but who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet. That's a lie. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. We all know the most attractive woman is a yandere. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbors' drills, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't call it new, was different. It was silent and easygoing during the day, and at night, everything woke up. Every demon. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old drawings or photos of my deceased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. Wait. Are you adopted? The floor was squeaky, rusty drains were moaning, and the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was in fact hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception I could hear a flute. Oh, is it Peter Piper? Or the Piper? That's a creepypasta or something. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone was playing it, is there? Amidst this cold, snowy night, right? Alright, let's make it safe. Open. Are those wolves dancing? Black silhouettes I could barely make out, with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, and bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. Of course, they're werewolves. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly the music stopped. They saw me. Oh no. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by pitch dark shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like a bird inside a cage. Hey there, demon. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. Maybe you should go with them. Maybe they'll be your new best friend. Better than your parents. They moved to the right, then circled the house. Now should be at the front door. I jumped into bed, covering myself with the blanket as if it could protect me. Grab a lamp. There's a lamp right there. You'll be fine. Trust me. I imagine those little creatures climbing up onto her bed and pulling her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move in their sockets, and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure. And now, lying under the blanket and listening to squeals and howls, I was repeating the same words. I'm not gonna read this, but... yeah. Huh. The bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw the curtains waving like a hangman. Then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched in my eardrums. In reality, something or someone was scratching at the front door, clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Maybe you should let them in. They're not gonna work. And then... the doorknob twitched slightly. Then it turned halfway once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. Maybe you should have locked your door. Started clicking violently. The saving in this game is very slow. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. And now you'll see. The door was wide open. Darkness wreathed inside a carnivorous mouth of a doorway. Toonie. I was trembling and snared by a web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room. Toonie. My adrenaline tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. Before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, "You asleep?" My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief. "I'm not sleeping. Did something happen?" It's there again, staring at me. "Shoo her away, please." I'm scared. The fear that was tormenting me a moment ago crawled away and hid in my stomach. I needed to calm Olga down. It was just a dream. She's trying her best to believe me. Was I sure myself? I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? The question took me by surprise. Alright, let's watch something else. What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by my grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with the feast of lard and long ashen hair. You coming? Yes, just a moment. Well then. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Oya and her owl in the morning. Who could be knocking on our door here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So you had a nightmare? So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled, just from a silly thought that our morning's guest could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet. Under the table. Behind the curtains, where Oya always hides. Come here. Oh no. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw cars, worse than bandits. Hello? Wore a grim expression nodded. A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name was Vova. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as a backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. No, I haven't. Are you sure? Look closely. Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Maybe you've seen him from the window. That's right. Your windows look straight to the forest, don't they? I haven't seen anything. I see. His voice was tired, but his stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the waves of guilt. All I've seen is a bunch of wolves. Yeah, just that. How do you like your new place, by the way? It's horrible. It's terrible. I want to leave. Before I die. Yes, everything is alright, thank you. The policeman pierced me one more time with his gray eyes. Can I help you somehow? Now that I think about it, you look like one of my little nephews. Or one of my nephews, little fella. He's a witty boy around your age. Wears the same type of goggles. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wanted to enroll into police school when his family visited us this summer. Wanted to help other people just like me, see? You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home. Steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much. You don't say. Oh, well then. What grade are you in? 6th. Have you made any friends? Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. I'll leave you my number just in case. Call me if you have any new info. The policemen were gone with their shadows. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to call the police. I thought about what he felt, being alone right now there. For some reason, I imagined the forest swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? What'd my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Would they accuse each other like they always do, and eventually forget about me? Mom, this is Vova. Did he go missing in our forest? Seems like it. Poor child. I looked out the window and at the road. The police UAZ drove off towards the village. The hell's a UAZ? I thought it was a UAV. Wait, no. What? The officer's nephew came to mind while I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I read this summer. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people, and said in Amazing Adventures Bam, solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents real proud. I noticed the trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest, and then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation on my own? Maybe I'll find that lost boy, and I'll get my reward. Oya will be so happy. Not only Oya, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. I fantasized about buying Oya a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. I had no idea what was the accountant's job like. They counted money? Neighbors used to envy us, but nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Oya. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues. I'm going outside. Yeah, right. You want to go to the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals or something even worse? Even worse, echoed. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said, or should I repeat myself? You better pack your school bag or go play with Oya. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. Huh. Okay, so this is where I actually have options. Let's not be a hero. That seems like a bad idea, honestly. The dark, stuffy closet. Ooh. I like to hide in the closet and listen to Oya count outside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me. Oh, give me the axe. Grandma kept asking for me and Oya there, but now I could only see meat bits for soup and clumped together pelmeni. I grew to hate them already. If it's anything like that porridge you seem to not like, then fair enough. This cross has seen so many people come and go in the house. It's cursed. Get rid of it. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm. But she cut herself with the cross's sharp corners and almost fell from the stepladder. Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left alone in its rightful place. Yeah, that's a doubt. The side of the old ocean freezer was checkered with childhood drawings, Mom's recipes, and all kinds of stickers from bubblegum with dinosaurs that Oya liked so much. Among that still life picture hung a piece of ruled paper with a phone number of the police officer who'd visited us. First Lieutenant Tikhonov, I read inside my mind. The scrap of paper was held up by 2 pieces of a broken magnet. It said Soviet toy. Is the language Russian? And English? What do you need it for? Hands off, you'll lose it. Huh. Anton, I'll whip you if you make a single step out that door. I need to distract Mom somehow, otherwise I get whipped. Emirkam of Russia has declared the state of emergency due to adverse weather conditions. Okay, it takes place in Russia. Keep your eyes open and take care of yourself. The decrepit, stain-covered calendar was once my favorite form of entertainment. Neat. I haven't touched this year's calendar for now. I grabbed a dusty calendar leaf with caution and tore it off effortlessly. Sadly, the spooky depictions from my childhood were still there. 7, 8 horses carry the log. If 7 can't carry, bring the 8th from a ferry. They will take it away and never come back. This is the fate the log cannot escape. Huh. I took a peek at Mom's crossword. She would get very angry when someone gave her advice. So me and Dad faked knowing the answer and being about to reveal it all the time. I smiled at the fleeting thought. It was difficult to lie to Mom, but there's no other way for me to run away from home. Mom, something's wrong with the TV. The picture's dim and there's stripes all over the TV. You're killing me here. Do you have enough of shooting these stupid ducks now? Told you the kind scope will go dim because of your console. Where will you find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings? Go see for yourself. We are going to get hurt. I opened the front gate and went into the field, carefully so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. I remembered my nightly fears. The silhouettes I saw were around here. They were jumping around holding hands. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. I see. Remind me never to go to Russia. Otherwise you might find like Slender Man or something. Everything was silent. So silent I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olya. The time reached its limit. On a one-way trip that ended at the Forest Piney Stockade. Sometimes silence was much more scary than any scream. From my knowledge, if you're in a forest and you don't hear anything, there's a predator. Our apartment became numb a couple days before we were departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing or spent time together, almost like all of it was a previous life. When they kissed with Olya present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. It's as if a fire broke up. From the people with cold, dead eyes, who sometimes visited us in our previous home. The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the background and everything. And somewhere, far away, a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. There were only me, this wide field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow-like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous needles frozen into the ice. Dry, prickly branch. That's a glove. Someone was here. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow, and I got almost to the edge of the forest. I saw a knitted mitten. Belongs to the boy. Should I take it to the police? Yes. Take it to the police. Vova, I heard a distant shout. Looks like it came from the river. As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova resounded closer to me. There was someone standing there behind the trees, hiding. I knew someone was still looking for the lost boy, but still. Its stillness. How it was bent unnaturally toward the ground. Its blackness. There was no one there, just branches and roots. It's all my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. Wait a second. Is that the owl? So it was my imagination. Maybe you should get the hell out of here. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket and I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. Oh boy. We finally have our first choice. I sure hope I don't die. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Vova? A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. I stepped towards the bristly trees and tried to find my claim. It didn't budge. I pulled harder and the mitten tore off. Oh. There's blood in that. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. I'll get caught, they'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thinking, I'll be gone forever. But there was one more voice. Probably one of reason it gave me strength and spurred me on. You can do it, don't stop. Their nostrils sucked in freezing cold air. They sensed my fear. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing, a hoot a wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from the twisted pines, and from under the windfall. Hurry, run, don't look back. Yeah, you should probably keep running. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror when I realized this was not snow. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. The house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears were so much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in the front yard and Mom had locked the door? I rolled onto the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click into the place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron door, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. What exactly didn't you understand when I said never to slam the door? Didn't mean to. Here, merely 5 meters away from Mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with the last bit of strength I had left my body too. My legs gave way and I propped up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. The cold mask of straightness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. Where have you been? What did I tell you? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you too? You probably should call the police. Did you snatch them? Were you smoking your secret? There was someone chasing me, I thought. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant, and she covered her mouth with her hand. Look over there at the fence. I could swear that I heard something scratching at the door just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger, and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs. Just a small pack of strays. Oh, were you scared of them? I think they'd be rather scared of you. They were chasing me like a bunny. What if they're rabid? Now she looks at the dogs as if it was first time seeing them. What if they attack Olia? I wish your dad could just shoot them all. Mom, look, they're alive. Are they your friend or foe? Make up your mind. You're not a little kid already. Do you still have the glove? A dark and sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. This was Volva's mitten. That boy the police were asking about them this morning. It's drenched in blood and I found it hanging on a tree. Ew. Stop at this moment. Olia will go insane if she hears you. She already has trouble sleeping and whines all the time. Come here, my boy, cried Wolf. Don't just stand there, take your pills. So you're drugged. I told you to stay home and Dad would have given you a good whipping for that. Come on, take it, you won't be able to sleep at night, and you have school tomorrow. Maybe it wasn't Volva's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a man at all. Just like the forest monsters. And Olia's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Serenity washed over me, bringing yawning indifference along with it. You done? See, you can do it too when you try. Take off your coat, are you asleep? No, I was just thinking. It's just something silly. Everything alright? You had the same expression when the policeman asked you about the window. I'm alright. Fine. It seems like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric has become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer and yellower. Even saliva in my mouth had a different taste. And I went upstairs. Jafar and Iago's voices died down. I've honestly never watched these Disney movies. My Triceratops figurine. Wow. Your room's kinda dingy, but I guess this is like Russia during... Is this during the Cold War? I wouldn't know. Strange, I remember moving the curtain. One of my letters even got published in Fly once. Maybe someday they'll even publish my comic. The simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. I sat on the bed. Then I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. Oh no. Just like a savant of sorts. Oh yeah? Yeah, it's so funny. This is gonna be a jump scare, right? It's gonna be Vova. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I opened the curtains. No, it's her. Okay. I knew it was you from the beginning. My sister was shining. When she was a baby, Dad used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not some flashlight. Oh, maybe she saw the wolves chasing you. I saw everything. Oh, really? What did you hide? She was just like Mom when she was little. It's nothing, just... You stole something and hid it there? Are you a thief? No, don't be stupid. I didn't steal anything. I found it from a tree branch. You didn't steal it from the trees. So that you won't tell anyone, I'll show you. Ilya wore a plotting smile. I swear on Mom's heart. You shouldn't swear, and especially not on your parents. That's weird. Looked like there was not a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter. Is this someone's mitten? She said as if she couldn't understand what she saw. A certain boy lost it and got lost himself. Now do you understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander into the forest, right? He must be really cold out there. Will they find him? They will. The police is going house to house showing his phone to every... Photo, not phone. I don't think phones existed. Why are they going to houses and not the forest? Are they scared? The question caught me off guard. The police isn't afraid of anything. That's a lie. Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how'd they miss the mitten? But it did appear later for me. I changed the topic. We may get a reward if I go and find this boy myself. A lot of stuff like in Field of Wonders. Sounds cool, right? What if the owl got him? Nonsense, an owl won't be able to lift a human. But you know what? Stay away from the forest, I think it's... How should I put it? It's cursed or something. Just like in a fairy tale? No, not like that. More like in that spooky tape Mom and Dad are hiding from us. I saw you running away. Someone was chasing you? It's just, I was hurrying back home so Mom wouldn't be worried. You're lucky. Mom won't even let me go outside. I'm like a princess in a tower, I can't go anywhere. I'll die from boredom here. You're wrong. No one has ever died of boredom. Maybe? I feel like it's possible. Leah giggled and tugged at my sleeve. Let's go watch Aladdin. I would rather not. I'm too tired. I don't want to. Come on. It's so boring alone and Mama's always busy. We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before. I know all of our tapes by heart at this point. Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan, remember, you always fall asleep. Maybe a bit later. Should I tell you how it ends? Let's leave that for tomorrow. I won't tell you tomorrow. I know. Let's play hide and seek. No. Then draw me a dino. Oh yeah, please. Draw it. Will you leave me alone already? Oh no. Oh, and he yelled it at his sister. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. Alright, you win. Let's go. Watch Peter Pan. Boo, you'll fall asleep again. I promise I won't. I'll draw you a full Triceratops later. Well, close enough. Oya rubbed her eyes with sleeper of her pajamas and a shining smile returned to her face. Oh dear. Tape is somewhere in the nightstand, I'll look for it. Oh dear. The scary window where Oya sees that cursed owl every night. Oya's countless toys. An old teddy bear is the main attraction here. Oya doesn't sleep without it. Let's turn on the TV. Oh man, I really hate these. It was a dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window, and the picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments, the scenery was overshadowed by noise. Did it catch some rogue signal? The local TV station only showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna to catch the channel again. The picture finally cleared up. But the moment I rejoiced at finding the weird signal, the TV started coughing, a voice barely coming through the cacophony. He was often seen at the moment when... It was pitch dark night at the cemetery. In the fateful dark time, little Senya met her fate in the face of a monstrous thicket dweller. The locals call him none other than the Forest Master. I froze and did my best not to move. As if by doing that I could scare away the narrator. I listened closely to his every word. The beast dealt with the helpless girl in a masterful manner. The camera panned along the snow, with blood spilled over it, looking for pieces of cloth that were thrown all over the place. I don't want to think whether Senya's remains were in there, so I shut my eyes without thinking. The voice continued. Wolves are rare guests in these parts. Here's what Tamara, the old woman that lives in the nearby crypt, had to say. That looks like the grandma. Yes, such a fearsome beastie it is, worse than the rising dead. And the stink it's like. The rest of her comparison was swallowed up by the sound of a horn. I've never felt anything like that. It was just standing there, yes. Right where you stand, boyo. Pierced me with its eyes right in the middle of day. Was so huge, that one, with glassy eyes. Obscenities were covered by another beep. You know, they say if the demon lays its eyes on you, it'll snatch you. Put you into its bag and you're done. But he won't touch me. Likes me, it seems. So they even call me the Devil's Wench. And it's definitely true. The carnivorous monster will not touch those who fell to the level of the forest beasts, going for the innocent child's blood instead. Master of the Forest presence is felt more and more in the outskirts of our country. Torn between believing in what it was saying and shrugging it away, I decided to record the remaining part of the documentary for some reason. It's not called the Forest Master for nothing. All the animals obey it, be it hairy or feathery. They're all precursors for its appearance. If you hear howls in the distance, then it most likely knows where you live. If you find animal prints on your doorstep, the birds watching you from the trees, you better hide. It's already coming for you. And if you wake up at night and see a pair of eyes in your windows, then soon. Well then. Hey there. The TV suddenly went mad and looped over the word over and over, piercing in my ears. But that was the light of the chandelier making the plastic glossy. Then I saw the cover. Oops, I recorded over Peter Pan. It was bad that I ruined her cartoon, but I also put this creepy stuff over it. I was looking for the tape. Do you really want to watch Peter Pan? You know, I didn't like Peter Pan. Maybe we should watch something else. Let's watch something else first. Yeah, let's just not tell her that she's gonna die. Oh no. I wanted to rush towards the TV, but my sister was faster. She'll play it and then... Stop. I erased the end of your tape by accident. I'll trade it with you for 2 of mine. What do you mean? You couldn't erase it. Me and Dad had broken off all the plastic pieces with a screwdriver. You can't record anything over the cartoons. I squeezed on the inside, awaiting the out-of-this-world voice of a narrator. I sighed in relief. She put the tape on rewind and started spreading the milk over her bread. To be honest, I always imagined myself there in a land where no one ever ages. That sounds like hell. Like a winged carnival would parade its tracks. It felt like I was dreaming, my eyes still open. Tony, shut the curtains fast! It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. I'm scared. Yeah, let's just shut the... Mom thinks I made the owl up, and Dad too. Thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists. Honestly, it does. You believe me, right? You know, I believe you. Do I really have those quantities? Yes, I believe you, alright? Just don't nag our parents about it. They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad. Come and tell me if anything happens. And don't look out the window. But it wants me to look. Doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist and never existed. Like it's made up. It'll get tired of waiting and fly away. No, it won't. It was madness, but after everything that's happened recently, I was more and more inclined to believe that Olya's owl existed. Get the axe. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had ever happened. As if the Force didn't kidnap kids. But it does. Very much so, actually. She fell asleep in it. Scary and Juan hanging over the taiga forest. She smacked her lips in her sleep. The protective pin was still in place. Whether it was by providence or by curse, I hid the tape alongside the mitten at the exact moment Mom peeked into my room. Enough playing around. It's your first day of school tomorrow. Go to bed and you should sleep properly. Adults think everything is so simple. Maybe it's the part of me growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The wind howled on and on into the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. Wow, this is only part 1 of a demo. Well then. Cool. This is a very interesting story, especially for a visual novel. It's already been almost an hour. That's amazing. Very immersive. I really like the whole owl forest master thing. And it's in Russia, and it's pretty easy to make things kind of creepy over there. They have a lot of forests, and they have a lot of forests covered in snow. Not a bad game. Not a bad game. If you guys have enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit the like button, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. As always, goodbye.